This week I wrote about how I market myself and like differentiating myself between a designer and developer and kind of what side I lean on there. So, just so you guys know the subject of this. Yeah, people wanted to know, like, in terms of marketing myself to employers and things like that. No, I have half days on Fridays. We work we work from 7 to 5 Monday through Thursday and make so those extra hours that we work out of the 9 to 5, those 2 extra hours we get off on Fridays. So they make us start at 7, work till 5, and then they give us half days on Fridays. So what I usually do is after work I go and I work somewhere for a little bit, like at a coffee shop or something, just to kind of catch up on stuff I wasn't able to do during the week. But today I came home because I had to get groceries and stuff, so I just came home after the grocery store, and I have to put out today's blog post, so I thought I might as well just stream the illustration because I have to do it anyways, so I might as well. I really need to get a monitor. I'm using a 13-inch MacBook, and the screen is so small. Trying to do illustration like this really sucks. Hey man, how's it going? Does it feel tiring to follow a schedule? Yes, that's why I kind of took a little bit of a break from streaming, and to be quite honest, I don't know what my schedule is going to be for streaming. Like I was saying earlier, I work 10 hours a day on weekdays, except for Fridays, where I get a half day. But, when I get home, the first thing I want to do or streaming isn't the first thing I want to do when I get home, obviously. I'm really tired. I've been working on design all day. It's not like I work in something other than design and then I'm excited to come home and design. Like, don't get me wrong, I love design, but, obviously it gets tiring doing it all day. So it's kind of hard to follow schedules sometimes, but the reason I do for my blog posts is just because I like them so much, and it's like, I don't know, I've just been doing it for so long that I'm kind of used to the process and the schedule behind it. Like every Saturday I almost always go to a coffee shop because my girlfriend has to study, so we end up going either way. So it's just part of my schedule that I'm already used to. But it definitely gets difficult to keep it, but I think it's better to have a schedule than not have a schedule, because then you know what time and what day you're going to be doing that thing. It's a little bit hard for live streams. Again, I'm going through a transition, and my job used to be pretty dang easy, I'll be honest. It was like meetings, a bit of design work, and then code. Like, it was mainly code. That's what I do now, but since I worked remote, a lot of the times I was kind of waiting on people for things, and I kind of had to work on other stuff, so I would work on things that I liked working on if I was having to wait a while for people. So it wasn't really tiring because I was I had breaks throughout the day all the time, and I was working 9:30 to like 4:30. That's like how the hours were. And I would go to the gym in the morning, so I wouldn't have to worry about going to the gym at night. So it was a lot easier for me to keep that schedule. But now I work those 10 hours, and on top of that, not to complain, but I have a commute that's 40 minutes both ways, 45 minutes around there. So that's like another hour and a half a day that I'm not home and I'm not relaxing. So if you think about it, I kind of work 11 and a half hours every day if you include the commute and everything. So again, I'm just exhausted by the end of the day, but having that schedule for my blog posts is the one thing I've been able to really keep consistent. I don't know what's the reasoning behind why it's not like hard for me to do. I just think a lot, I guess, and then I keep up the topics that I have to write about. So when I go to write on Saturdays, I already have like a list of things to choose from that either I think of or that I see people ask me on Twitter and things pretty often. So it's really not hard for me to do this. I will say working on side projects and keeping up side projects and streaming are definitely a bit more difficult just because they're a lot more intensive than writing a blog post and illustrating. Like, illustration is fun and easy for me, so it never feels like work. But I will say streaming and side project work definitely takes a toll on me sometimes, so I usually get burnt out and then need to take a break from it, which is good. It's not a bad thing to do. Obviously, you can't be just going 24/7, so sometimes I need to do that. And there's my aunt texting me about my family in Puerto Rico. I'm sure you guys know about the stuff in Puerto Rico, but yeah, I have family over there. If Jose's still here, I know he does too, so positive thoughts are always welcome in that scenario. Yeah, enough talking about me. How's everybody doing since I last streamed? I know we have some regulars in here, so how's everybody doing? The more that I look at this, I realize it's like such a typical style, which is fine. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the new Slack, but the illustrations that Alice Lee did are incredible. But she was also using a tablet. I wish I used a tablet for these illustrations, but AstroPad for me, my dog. AstroPad for me is really laggy, and that's the only way I'd be able to use it with the computer so that you guys could see it while I'm doing it. I don't know. There's a time crunch, kind of, so it's like, how much should I really care about that? My dog's being crazy. Are you waking up exhausted and unmotivated because you didn't sleep enough? Because it's actually getting kind of late for you. Actually, not too late, but I remember you stay up late. So, as simple as it sounds, is trying to make sure you get enough sleep is one thing I would recommend. Another thing is I would probably look into Ugmonk. He has a lot of good tips for like working from home and like working on things and like staying motivated. Because I know you're not working. For last time we talked, I remember you're not working anywhere. You're just doing freelance and your own stuff. As much as I could give you some advice, but as much as I'd love to give you good advice, I feel probably not the best one because I'm like, to be honest, I'm terrified of working freelance as much as I wish I could. I just have no client list set up. I haven't really made an effort to ever get one. Even if I did, I feel like it would be kind of difficult for me to get one going. So probably not the best person to ask. But schedules definitely help, is like knowing that you're going to do this thing first thing in the morning. Writing down your goals for that day is really helpful too. Setting a strict like deadline for things, whether that's personal work or work that you're doing for another company. Those things are very helpful. That was helpful for me in a way when I was working remote. Because like I said, sometimes I was waiting on people. So instead of just like doing nothing, I would take that time and like set up goals for what I'm going to be working on that day or later that day for both full-time work and my own work. So yeah, that might be helpful. I want to color this thing black like a text editor, but then it would cover this. Yeah, no problem, man. Hope it helps. Yeah, staying indoors all day definitely isn't healthy. Um, and even if you do, I mean, I did that a lot of the days when I lived in St. Louis, but at least like working out will definitely help give you a lot more energy, um, and vitamins. Like, there's no harm. I mean, that can only help, so might as well. Yeah, I'm just making an illustration for today's blog post. Um, Not a fan of Illustrator. I absolutely love Illustrator. Hey Zach, how's it going? Oh, hey Andres. Yeah, because I'm finally streaming at a good time for you guys that aren't in America. That's cool that you finally got to catch one though. Make a pen tool. I was gonna make a mouse pointer, but I did that on an illustration not too long ago. So I've never drawn one of these. I'm just going off of the icon. So it looks like this, maybe. Yeah, and then I'm gonna put this low because I don't have headphones, so I don't want this to like sound really bad to you guys. But I work better with music, and I don't have Soundflower set up yet. Actually, I'm just not gonna put music. I'm going to listen to music myself, and then I'm gonna try and get Soundflower set up for next time so that I can put music at the same time as I'm streaming. So you guys don't have to hear it through a mic, and you can actually hear it coming through the audio. Oh yeah. Well, at least you got to catch it. It's hard for me to stream any earlier, to be honest. All right, Joey. See you, man. I actually might go on a run later too, so have fun. The heck? You see that? Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Whatever. GPU, CPU. Oh, doesn't seem to be coming back now, so that's good. Hey, Trip Hoppin'. We're just doing some illustration work for my blog post that's going up today. Ooh, CSS for the win. Oh my god. How do I do that? Okay. I think that was it. It's really frustrating. Um, I usually, I don't know. Sometimes it depends. Like, this isn't the final color palette, probably. I don't really like it. But I usually grab a color palette that I kind of like on Dribble that I've saved or something, and then I kind of use that as like a starting point, and I usually adjust things a bit from that. But generally, obviously, as an illustrator, I know color theory from school and from a bunch of practice, but yeah, it usually changes throughout when I'm working on it. I was just saying hi to my girlfriend. But yeah, also it changes if I'm working on a client project. Like these illustrations are very ad hoc. It's not really too much of a process. Well, there's a process, but it's not like my usual process that I would use if this was like a really important project. That definitely changes, but for the sake of this, that's for these illustrations. That's just kind of how I work. Is I usually grab a palette from Dribble and then just kind of change it a bit depending on what I need.
Papa, I think I have one.
Yeah. Speaking of color palettes, I'm actually gonna look to see. I don't know why nothing's loading. Look at this, I like this color palette. So, usually grab a screenshot, and then again, this would change if I'm working on a client project because the palette is the illustration is very dependent on the palette in terms of how, like for example, if it's for a website, how it's going to make users feel, things like that, kind of the typical stuff. So obviously that would be different, but for this, so it's just for personal stuff. I don't like to spend too much time on it, to be honest. So I'd rather just grab a color palette that I like and then kind of change it a little bit depending. Wow, this color palette is like super Halloween. Well, I guess you have that pink in there, but overall the orange, black, and purple. So we have that. I don't even set up groups, which is probably not a good idea. Well, I'd probably work faster. I mean, And then since I need other ones, I'll just come in here and change it as I need it. And then I know I'm probably preaching to the choir because I know you do illustration too, but yeah, knowing like basic methods for color theory, it makes it really easy to just adjust things as needed. The subject matter for these two are also just kind of a free-for-all. I used to sketch out a lot for these, but I just really don't have the time to spend a lot of time on them. So I just kind of go with it and kind of make whatever I'm feeling at the moment. This isn't perfect, but we can adjust it later in Photoshop. So I'm just going to leave it for now. Color guide. I don't even think I've used that. I learned Illustrator like 5 years ago, and I probably pick up on just one trick every year. Like I already know all the hotkeys. I learned that when I was first starting, so I know a good deal. But like color guide, I've never had to use that, or I've never used it. I'm sure it would help. I need to watch DKNG's Skillshare. I'm sure I'd pick up on a lot just from that. Window color guide. So, wait. My God. So it basically gives you like secondary and tertiary colors, I guess. That's pretty cool. With the tints and everything. I had no idea that existed. That's really cool. So I could. Can you guys stop? So I can grab these and then get like a dark purple, so it's like a purplish black instead. It's cool. Sorry about my dogs. Whatever. This is cool. Thanks for showing me that. That'll help with, because what I would usually do is I'd go here, and obviously I know that when you go down in brightness, you also want to boost saturation. So I'd go somewhere like that and get a similar thing, but that definitely makes it quicker. So that's good to know. Those blending. Oh wow. That's cool. Thanks, man. I did not know about that. I'll definitely be using that then. This is cool. Hey, stop. I'm gonna close my door. Now I'm getting lost in using this. Yeah, it really is. This is cool. It's cool because it's kind of off topic, but the way that I feel about CSS frameworks is like knowing something and then using a framework to help you do it quicker. And that's how I feel about this. Like, I know a good amount of color theory, but being able to work quicker and more efficiently is really cool to have. That's how I feel that this is doing, pretty much. Yeah, I have a bad habit of working in just black, actually. If I could just work in black, white, and gray all the time, I would. I just love the look of it. But I try and make these have some variance in coloring and style for the most part. Hey Adam. No, frozen. I work on a Mac. You could use Figma if you're having that much trouble. Figma's in browser, so you don't even have to worry about support or anything like that. Well, that was quick. Frozen. See ya. I really don't like putting text in illustrations. I just don't know what else to put for the code part. I don't really like this pen tool here either, to be honest. 100% happy with this. I think it kind of gets the point across, and I want to be done with it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna go with that. Let's save this. And then when I'm in Photoshop, because I always bring it in here to export it and keep them all in the same spot, I usually edit the colors a little bit. Not really too much. I kind of just boost the saturation, maybe mess with the curves and levels a little bit. So it just makes it a little more coherent. And then, again, I'm not 100% happy with the illustration, but gets the point across. So, this centered. Feels like it isn't visually, at least. There you go. Cool. So go ahead and save that. And then that's ready to go. So last thing I got to do is just put it on my blog. Also fix the state. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off screen and then publish this article if you guys want to read it. Probably about 30 minutes or so it'll be out. But yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing a little bit of the illustration stuff. I'm gonna try and stream on Fridays usually. I'm not gonna make any promises. I want to try and get back into my schedule kind of based on this new job stuff. So hopefully you guys understand. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for the support, and I will catch you guys in the next stream. See ya.